Hey, thanks so much for being here with us. We are coming to you from Managed Solution, your business technology experts here in San Diego. And I have with me today, Christi Keating, our senior marketing manager. Christi, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. Stoked to be here today.
Absolutely. I get to work with you on a regular basis, so I freaking love having you here. Really excited for this conversation. I want to start off with, if you really knew me, you would know blank. What would we know about you?
So I grew up in New Jersey. I always had a dream of going somewhere sunnier and warmer. So when I was 22, I said, I'm out. I had graduated college. I had saved enough money, and my mom and I got in the car and drove across country. I'd never been to California before, but I'd heard great things about sunny San Diego. My mom and I took a 10-day road trip, hit a few cities across America, and now I've been here 8 years. So
Amazing. I think it takes a lot for a young person to do that.
yeah, I mean, my whole thing was, if I don't like it, I can always go back or go somewhere else, right? So we're not trees, we're not rooted. We can go where we want.
Absolutely. So I have seen the incredible results of the marketing that you do for Managed Solution. We get a lot of business from our marketing, and I love it because I get to pick up a lot of those calls. And it's fun. It's actually fun to see where the leads are coming from, if you like statistics and all that stuff. So I want to ask you, what software could you not live without?
So for me, as the marketing manager, it's HubSpot. You talk about looking at the statistics of where things are coming from. And in my career, I haven't always had that. I haven't had the tools to do that. And HubSpot just makes it so easy to track leads, track deals. Did they come from an event that we did? What event was that? Did they come from calling us? Did they search us on Google and fill out a contact form? Which is really great because I have all these dashboards set up that at the end of the year, at the end of the quarter, I can look back and filter out, well, how much revenue came from this event or this SEO initiative that we were doing or whatnot. And just allows me to make better decisions. And it's like, okay, this thing didn't work over here. Let's not do that again. But, oh, wow, we got X amount of revenue from this. Let's reinvest in that and maybe even double down and invest even more in that particular area. So it's really telling on, what's working and what's not. And it's just a great way to see the sales activity, and look at the different attribution reports and how many touch points it takes for each marketing member or sales member to, go from point A to point B, or, knowing about us to being a customer. So,
yeah, this really goes back to something that our CEO talks about all the time, which is data is gold, because you're making all the decisions based on the data that's in HubSpot.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, marketing is so much testing, which I love. It's like, okay, let's figure out what works, what doesn't work. But if you don't have data to make those, guess, like, you're just a shot in the dark, I mean, you need some sort of data to say, okay, we're going to test this because the data shows this. And then as you test further and do more things, you can use that data to really make really good decisions. Mm-hmm. And as a result, you'll see that ROI continue to grow. So yeah, data is so important. And I am very hard on the team about making sure that all the fields are filled out, that they're accurate, going through once a quarter or at least every 6 months, and just making sure that, the data is accurate, that the data is even input, because we know a lot of people don't even like to use this sort of stuff. So it's been great. We're really one department on the sales and marketing side of things. So I can rely on the team to make sure that that's happening. And then that data is telling me what to do. And then I can get them the leads that they want, right?
Yeah. I actually think that that's important, right? So you just said something that's really key, which I can rely on the team to put the data in. And I feel like that's a lot of trust, but B, there's something else there. Like, how do you know? Of course you trust us, right? We are always talking about it. We're always talking about how to make sure that HubSpot's accurate so that we are making accurate decisions. Mm-hmm. how do you feel like that this is what we're doing is accurate?
Yeah, I mean, you bring up a good point. It's garbage in, garbage out, right? So you got to make sure that the reports are telling the true story, and the only way that they're going to do that is if the data is accurate. And so we have daily syncs every morning. The sales team and marketing team are on a call for a half hour talking about open opportunities, new leads, where things are going next with that particular contact or opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just so much more in the know than I've ever been as far as a marketing leader in an organization. And that's so important to make sure that we're delivering the right messaging to those contacts, to the customers. And so it's just the communication factor and just being so well ingrained with the team. And I'm, I can easily go into HubSpot and look at the activity that's been there. So maybe someone didn't put something in, but I can go and look at the feed and be like, oh, it's this, and just plug it in really quick. It's rare that I have to do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing with HubSpot is you can set up workflows. So like if this is missing, send an email to the owner and make them fill it in. So, I have my checks and balances, if you will, to make sure that the data is there, but everyone is so good at tracking this stuff helps them do their job better too. So at the end of the day, it's full circle. So
absolutely. How do you feel like HubSpot? Well, a couple of things that you mentioned that I want to talk about a little bit. One of the things is you said that we have daily syncs, which we do. So one of my questions is, even in this environment of us working remotely, what's your comfort? Has your comfort level changed? Let me ask that again. Even in the context of us working remotely, has your comfort level changed at all with regards to the accuracy of the data going into HubSpot?
honestly, no. Our team, particularly Managed Solution, as you know, has a flexible work policy as far as, remote work goes. And I was coming into the office, depending on my schedule, 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 times a week. But often I was a few days fully remote. And same with the sales team. They're typically in the field.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they're not having too many face-to-face meetings now, but they're working from home. And, we have teams that we leverage for video. And, I get to see your faces every morning. And so it's really nice to just be able to connect that way. And, we use Teams to communicate a lot of that stuff, all that data I'm talking about within HubSpot. I have those reports living in Teams too, because those are live links that update in HubSpot as the reports go. As time goes on, you can, change your settings on timing and stuff. But I have those links that live in certain teams. So I have it in the sales and marketing team. I have it in the leadership team. So anyone from anywhere, even if they don't have HubSpot, can go in and look at that data.
Mm-hmm.
And look at, get the information that they need. My boss looking at, where are we at from how much pipeline marketing is serving this quarter. The CEO and leadership team looking at what initiatives that I've implemented are working, and let's give her more budget to go keep doing that, or what's not working. And like, hey, Christi, like, let's take a step back, and why isn't this working? And if it's just not the right model or fit for us, well, let's go reinvest somewhere else. Or maybe there's just a few things over here we could tweak before we totally rule it out. And so it's just nice having that feedback and that totally transparent type of view across the organization for who needs to get that data. So they don't have to call me and say, where is it? They know exactly where to find it and can see what's going on.
Yeah, so and it's great, because my second question was going to be, how do you find the integration of this one software that you rely so heavily on and we use every day with the rest of your system, right? Because HubSpot's its own thing. It's not part of Microsoft. It's not part of any Apple or iOS products, right? So how do you find that integration? And I think you just spoke a little bit about it.
Yeah, I mean, they have, HubSpot has an open API, so you can actually build anything you want to connect to it. Through Zapier, you can do a lot, but it also has native integrations. And so it does integrate with Outlook, which is great because I got the sales team to just connect it. And now they don't have to go manually log their emails or manually log their calls. They can call out of HubSpot, or they can send an email through Outlook, and it just automatically copies that, strange BCC link and puts it in the information. And then you can have workflows set up based on activity. So it's really nice to see all the automation that makes my job easier. So I'm not in there manually doing stuff all day long. And then, like I said, a lot of these reports that we build, you can have it say this quarter, last quarter, year to date, rolling 90 days, like whatever you want. And that link to the dashboard just doesn't change. So wherever you want to put it, it's going to be accurate wherever that lives. And you can also set up like recurring email reports out. So I could say every Monday I want to send this report to this team. So like every Monday I get a report from Tina, our sales leader, about where we stand for the week and, you know, what we expect to close this week, what we don't. And it just gives a nice pulse check on where we're at as far as hitting our goals.
Yeah. Sounds like this technology is such a core part of the business. And that's part of the point here is we rely very heavily. Obviously, we must have great people and we must know how to use our technology, what to use, how we want to use it, have a vision for it. I'm sure you have even greater visions for the future of more things we could do with our business intelligence tools combined with HubSpot, right?
Yeah, I just thought of something. It's kind of like the 3 T's: trust, transparency, and the right team. You know, like if you have, and technology, let's make it 4, right? So you have all those things and you really have this well-oiled machine that's just gonna, you know, in sales and marketing, you hear a lot about the funnel, right? Where it's like the leads come in, you qualify them, and then they come out as a customer. Well, HubSpot has since changed that methodology in the last year or so. Now it's the flywheel. And it's all about sales, marketing, and customer service delivery working together so that there's no friction in any part of your now, instead of a funnel, a flywheel, and you're just moving along, making sure that you're delivering the right information to the right people at the right time. And that again goes back to data, being able to look at this prospect was on all these web pages about disaster recovery and backup recovery, right? I'm not going to call them and say, hey, do you want to migrate to Office 365? No, we're going to say, hey, do you want to learn more about how we can help serve those needs that you're looking for as far as a backup solution? So again, the data that's automatically collected versus also the data that's put in from the team, just it can really make our job so much more easier. I mean, you're more strategic, you're more intentional with your time and your outreach and what you're delivering. So
yeah. That said, being someone who has so successfully plugged marketing into our strategy and continues to, I'm just saying this from my experience and what I see, you continue to up level our marketing and the leads that we receive and how we're perceived.
Trying.
What piece of advice would you give to business leaders regarding anything that we just talked about, technology, marketing, your role, people?
Sure. I think it's just really important that similar to IT, marketing used to kind of be like its own siloed department, you know, and I always joke, like, how did marketers measure ROI before all this technology, right? Like you threw a billboard out there. It's like, how do you know how many people saw that or bought your product from that? So I think my first thing would be to set up all the reporting and all the processes of how you're tracking your different activities so that it serves that reporting to give you accurate data. And I also think that marketing can play such an important role throughout the organization, not just generating leads, but culture. I mean, I work with our director of people and culture all the time on just like fun events and, you know, game ideas, how to stay connected while remote. That's the creative fun side of marketing, right? And then also just working with the customer service and sales team as far as what are our customers saying? What do they like? What do they don't like? What's missing? Because marketing can play a hand in that too, as far as delivering and serving information to them, you know, additional resources that might be helpful to them. I had a customer email me the other day that was like, hey, I'm trying to train our team on how to use Teams. And I have these questions, and I answered her questions, but I was like, hey, here's a Teams guide we created. You should send this out to your team. And she's like, this is amazing, you know, like, and it's those little like touch points where you can delight them a little bit that I think is so critical, and not every business leader realizes how much of a play marketing can have, from generating leads to delighting customers. So you talk about that circle again. So, you know, don't silo marketing. Make sure that they're really aligned with your sales team, because at the end of the day, your goals are the same, you know, drive revenue and satisfy customers.
Beautifully said. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. If you want to connect with Christi, please do so on LinkedIn. Connect with her. Please connect with me. Managed Solution. Our company is everywhere online. We're here for you. We want to support you. So please do that. And we will see you next week.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd love to connect. Find me on LinkedIn.
Bye.
Bye.